Today on the Digg podcast, I'm speaking to Louise from Benone Getaways. Louise and her business, Benone Getaways, is one of the main sponsors of Series 4 of the Digg podcast. And I'm very proud to say that. I'm loving having them on board. We've an exciting 9 weeks ahead, and you know, when you listen to her story today, you'll see why I wanted you guys to hear it. It's one of courage to embrace lockdown and use that time to make your business the best that it can be, you know, to do those things that mightn't have got done for years. She talks about that, about how she's collaborating with local businesses to make her business the best it can be, and also, you know, promoting on social, using all the traditional means of advertising as well. It's a really very eye-opening podcast of how a startup business can be like surpassing all their own goals. So I'm excited for you to listen and excited for you to visit Benone Getaways once you hear what Louise and her team have to offer. So thank you for Louise joining us, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Welcome to the Digg podcast. I am your host, Caroline O'Neill, and I love to discuss all things online marketing, managing money, collaborations, making that killer pitch and developing that product that will make millions, as well as so many other topics that will inspire you in your business. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Digg podcast. It's my absolute privilege to speak to thousands of you each week. Remember, I love to know when you've listened, so screenshot the episode and post on social, tagging me on Digg for Success and Digg Mama, and I will reshare with my audience. I'd also love if you could leave a review for the Digg podcast on whatever your favourite platform is, Apple, Spotify or YouTube. I love to see all your reviews. Thank you for being here, Louise.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a sponsor. First of all, it takes businesses like you to believe in someone like me doing this to, you know, make it all happen. So collaboration is key. I'm always talking about it. So thank you for believing in me on this journey as well. But tell us, like I've spoke to you on the phone and we've talked just before you came on air, but I mean, tell us about your business journey. Like it's a recent one, but you know, I think everybody will really get a lot from it. So where did it all start and how did you get to where it is now?
Okay, so it wasn't planned for opening Benone Getaways. I didn't even see it that I would have that. I'm a farmer's daughter and I'm the eldest of 3. So I have 2 younger sisters. The one below me is a teacher, and then the youngest is focusing on her own business there. She is doing sheepdogs.
What do you mean doing sheepdogs now? What does that mean?
So she's planning to do like demonstrations with the dogs and working sheep and working the ducks. So she's venturing out this summer, hopefully all being well, for doing demonstrations to invite people down to work her work, or like let her work the sheepdog and let people come and watch.
Oh wow!
So she's only 19, so she's still very young. But this is a whole future plan. So how I got into Benone Getaways, as I said, I got my degree in agriculture, worked for General Merchant for a couple of years, and then just knew it wasn't for me. And then this opportunity of where we have Benone Getaways, the property my mum and dad bought when they got married, and they lived in it. Well, I was actually reared in the house right up to I was 12, and then my granddad passed away, so my mum and dad had to move up to the farm. From then the house was let, and it's only recently that the guys that let the house bought their own house, and the opportunity was there. I seen the location, I knew where Benone was and what it was missing, and I knew it was missing the accommodation to let people come stay and enjoy an area of outstanding natural beauty, walking distance from the beach. So I did talk to my dad and said, look, there is so much opportunity there. What do you think? And he wasn't too sure at the start, to be fair.
What did he say?
It was like, right, okay. He wasn't too sure of what sort of glamping was and that sort of thing. But I have been travelling to Australia and New Zealand, and I did notice all the quirky accommodation, and I thought you could go down in Benone and do a B&B or do something that's like no one here. But I thought we'll do something different, and glamping is only starting to be introduced in Northern Ireland, so I thought, why don't we go and try and beat everyone to it as such? Do something different, do something someone will come and enjoy, and something families would love or couples would love, something different, that they're in their own wee area, their own pod and stuff like that. So
you convinced your daddy that it was a go. So he seen your vision then when you described that to him. So I suppose that traveling to Australia and all inspired you, doesn't it? Take something to kind of bring that up. Yes. So then what happened? So it's an idea at this stage. And what year are we talking here? When
that was 2019.
Okay. So, right, so very
all
recent.
Before lockdown and everything. Like nothing was even mention of lockdown.
Yes.
Or coronavirus. So what I did from there was I showed my dad couple of unique accommodations and went round a couple of local businesses that have something unique, not your normal B&B or your normal self-catering, something that's completely different. And then basically went round and I really enjoyed it myself. So then I brought that up and I showed it to my dad and I was like, "Wait, what do you think?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know, I'm not too sure." But eventually I got him talked around and he was completely all on for it then. Yes. So he was.
So that was kind of like market research you were doing to figure out get the best bits and bring it together into your vision.
Yes.
Is that what you were doing there?
Doing that sort of thing.
So then you have your idea and your vision, and then how do you make it happen? What happened?
So what happened then was, luckily enough, my boyfriend is a building contractor.
Happy days.
So it worked out really, really well. We done all our research and the glamping pods, what I thought would be opened in Easter 2020, lockdown hit in March. So we had everything ordered, everything ready to go. We were working all the time, like even after, I think it started January, we started basically getting the foundations in for the pods and stuff like that. And then next thing, lockdown came, and I was like, my goodness, I've everything sitting ready to go. We had the pods sitting ready. We were got everything, basically all the contractors in, and they were going to do stuff. And then next thing, obviously lockdown, the whole world shut down. So from then we were like, right, do we just hit pause and wait to see what will happen, or will we keep motoring? Keep the whole thing going, and then as soon as lockdown, if it lifted in 2020, which at that stage we didn't know, but if it lifts, we're ready to go. Yes. So what we decided to do was just keep going. So it worked out really well in our favour. As I said, my boyfriend is a building contractor, so he was on site full time, which worked out like great.
Yes.
So we'd done a lot of work ourselves. So my two sisters were down to help. My mum was down, my dad was down. Anybody that was in our bubble was down. So we were out doing the grass. We were literally doing the concrete, doing the stones, doing the paths, everything we'd near enough done ourselves with all the prep work. And then as soon as lockdown lifted a bit, then we could get like a contractor in to do the paths, the concreting on it and stuff like that. So that's where we went.
So you didn't stop regardless of the world, your bubble kept going?
No, we were out in our shorts, literally.
It was such nice weather, wasn't it?
Unreal weather, yeah. And we were just doing like wee things we could do ourselves. Like we've done like flower beds and stuff, which we weren't planning to do at the start. But with lockdown, we're like, oh, we could do this, and then we could do that. And we've done loads of like wee changes that we wouldn't have
had time
and hadn't had time to think of. So that's basically how Benone started rolling.
I think people look back now and see all the things that they got to do because, like we've just said, they had time, and that's probably you mightn't have got flower beds planted for 10 years if it had been the normal way. So lockdown was good. That's
lockdown was brilliant. Actually, for us, it helped so much. Yeah. Well, it had a bit of a panic on with, right, you're spending all this money, and we don't know if we're getting open in 2020, which is alarms were going. But we said once we get it ready, at least then, if lockdown does lift, we're ready to go. So what we planned before we opened, I was like, right, okay, I'll manage it. My mum, she can come down and clean, and so can my wee sister. We'll manage it between the three of us on happy days. And then lockdown lifted, was at the end of June, and literally we was like in the swim pool, sink or swim.
And what did you do? Swim like mad?
Swim like mad. What actually worked out, we were like fully booked straight away.
Because wasn't that the stage where you couldn't go to a hotel, but you could go to somewhere like your place?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
So we were literally opened up, fully booked for 2 or 3 months solid. And I was like, I can't get out of the office. I have people phoning me, emails, our website, everything. So we ended up taking on more staff and employing more staff. And I think that summer we had up to 10 or 12 staff working for us.
Oh my God.
Straight away, I was like, what has this become?
That's unbelievable.
I know. It was like literally, I didn't expect that work or Well, I did expect the work, but I thought we could manage it ourselves, and then just boom, we're literally full capacity there and then. So
it's the dream, like for a business, isn't it? I know
hard
that
work.
trauma. I know that trauma of lockdown and all, but you know, to hear that success story makes you feel like, my God, some people actually flourished, you know, after lockdown, you know, which is brilliant that some people were. I know others have had such a hard time, and I'm very sympathetic to that, but it's great to hear a story like that. It just uplifts you. But so 10 cleaners all working their magic. You're in the office, and when you said the website, so you obviously were preparing that site online when lockdown was happening, is that right?
Well, the way we worked our website, the first year I actually done it all by hand. Our website was there in the background, but the booking system wasn't there. So I had phone calls. I literally printed out a calendar with each day. I had each pod on it, scribbled out the pods that was booked, scribbled out the ones that people's cancelled, and I literally worked the whole thing black and white on paper. And I actually do not know how I ever done that. But
you did?
I did, yeah. And then the second year we had the website booking system sorted so they could book online. Whereas before it was literally.
And how much easier has that?
Took like half the work off. Just even people can go on and they can see what's available. Before we didn't have that. We had people ringing, what do you have available? And then you have people, oh, we might book them, but we might book another date. And then you're like saving 2 dates for them. And
yes, so that was and was that a process? Did you go to did you outsource that, or did you learn how to do that yourself, or did you get someone in to do that website?
It's actually a family friend.
Okay,
so we did,
family friends are great, aren't they?
He set it up for us, and he's like, well, this is how you work it, so away you go. I am not IT literate at all. Like, I do not have a clue, but self-taught myself how to do wee bits and bobs. It might take me 2 hours, where a computer genius could like do it in about 5 minutes. But
you still did it.
Did it, yeah.
I think that's, you know, inspiring as well for business owners, because sometimes the tech side of things can put the barriers up, but you have to learn. You know, you have to learn.
Yeah.
And even if you're handing it over to someone, I think it's important that you always know how it works in the first instance. You might know the intricate details, but I think that kind of general knowledge is important, because you're the one on the ground. No one have to know how it operates really on the thing. So fair play to you for getting a family member first of all, learning yourself, and then outsourcing it as well for the more intricate parts of it. But that's amazing. Right, okay. So now we're up at that stage. You're fully booked, and you know, and you're fully booked because people couldn't come to hotels and all of that there. And why do you think you were fully booked? What makes you stand out amongst your competitors? Because that's a big deal these days. It's such a noisy world, especially online. So, and there's so many people saying, come here, come to me, come book here. Why do you think people were choosing to go to you? Why do you stand out?
I think our location's key. As you said at the start.
Tell us again, because it's so unreal. Tell me again. I just love Benone Beach.
We are in the heart of Benone itself, and then we're walking distance from the beach. So for a lot of people, especially summer, like Benone summertime weather, unbelievable. It's literally it is so good.
It's a blue flag beach.
Blue flag beach,
yes.
7 miles long.
7 miles, wow.
So there's plenty of space on the beach.
Social distance.
So our location's key, and then even the activities we've around the place, all walking distance. We've surfing. There's mini golf, tennis, a 9-hole golf course, and all walking distance. And then you have like a bar and restaurant only walking distance as well. So what we find, a lot of our guests came early, parked up, and away walking they went. So they went to the beach, or they went for food and stuff like that. So where we were was sort of like the heart of Benone. Benone's not big, but it literally has everything you need for a holiday.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm sure everybody's way Googling when they're even listening to this. The Digg podcast is all about educating my listeners, but it's so important to me that it is also a place to gain exposure. Each week we open up the podcast to brands and business owners to pitch to you guys.
My name is Louise Conn, business owner of Benone Getaways. I am delighted to sponsor Series 4 of the Digg podcast and be featured as one of Caroline's guests. Benone Getaways is a luxury resort based on the Causeway Coast, walking distance from Benone Beach. It has spectacular views of Benone Mountain and the hills of Donegal. We are open all year round for that perfect beachside escape. The resort consists of 6 unique luxury glamping pods and 2 self-catering holiday homes. 4 of our pods come in their very own private hot tubs. All of our pods have personal fire pits, and our guests can enjoy the amazing chill and grill barbecue hut. Take advantage of getting the family together, or even a group of friends, and book an unforgettable stay. Our resort is in the heart of Benone, close to an amazing activities centre, mini golf, surf school, walking distance from a bar and restaurant. Benone Getaways is a great base for exploring the north coast and visiting the top tourist attractions such as Mussenden Temple, Giant's Causeway and many more. Just an hour's drive from us is both Belfast and Derry/Londonderry, and we are only 5 minutes away from the Lochfoyle ferry, the gateway to Inishowen. After a long hard day exploring, pop open a Prosecco and gather round the fire pit, or soak in your very own private hot tub. Benone Getaways can cater for all occasions, including birthdays, anniversaries, hen parties and many more. Get in touch and create your very own tailor-made experience, which can make memories that last a lifetime. Start your giant adventure at Benone Getaways. Find us on all the socials at Benone Getaways or on our website www.benonegetaways.co.uk.
So yes, definitely location makes you stand out. Anything else makes you guys stand out?
Yes, so our pods itself, I went down like the luxury part. So the way I basically done it was, if I was going somewhere, just the wee small details. I'm very fussy with small details.
Oh my God, I love this. Tell us what it is. Tell us what they are. Because we're, as a team here on the podcast, we're always commenting about the wee details when you go to places. So we want to hear this now.
So even the likes of complimentary Prosecco, all our pods get complimentary Prosecco. The pods with private hot tubs have your fluffy robes, your towels, the comfy double beds, the amount of reviews and stuff we get about the beds. Basically says everything about them. All of our pods have like the ensuite, small kitchenette, smart TV, so even the kids could put Netflix or something on if it's something that they need or they're into. And then with the likes of the fire pits, we can do add-ons. So our pods, you can get the pod, a basic pod itself, or you can we can tailor make each individual stay. So it's like of a birthday or an anniversary or a honeymoon. We can add on different packs and do the pods up for that occasion. So
Louise, like, you know, you had your, you know, degree in agriculture and all. Like, this, it sounds like you're a marketeer and you're a, you know, an events and you're a, you know, so that's probably what it takes, all those skills to make something like this good, doesn't it? Because anybody could go by or build a glamping pod, but it's them wee things that make me say, oh, I'm going to book there. So unreal for you to have done all of that with not really that experience, really.
Yes, I have no experience in that area at all. But basically the way I've went and I've looked towards it is like, if I was going somewhere, what would I like?
Yes.
So I would treat my guests all the same. Do you know what I mean? If I want to go somewhere, I would get or I would want, like, if I was going away for my birthday and you got a balloon in your room, like, you're like, oh my goodness, like, wee things is so
the experience you create rather than like where you are sometimes as well. But you have both. So that's, I can see why you're standing out and you're fully booked. It's amazing. Now she's not fully booked. You know,
not this summer.
Exactly. So everybody can still go online and look here. So tell me, like we talked before you came on the podcast about collaboration, and you know, like a lot of the guests that come on talk about the power of it. So how have you embraced like collaboration in your local area? You know, what are you doing to kind of bring the business community together?
Yes, so what we have focused mainly the end of last year and the start of this year is collaborating with local businesses. So what we're working on is packages. So you could come stay with us and you could go horse riding. It could be one package, or you could come and stay and do a foodie tour. Some people love like going around and tasting basically the taste of Causeway. And then we've also done like Limitless is another business we work with, is an adventure. They do hovercrafting, so they're one of the only places in Northern Ireland that does hovercrafting. So we can tailor make your experience whatever you are into or your family's into. And then for 2022, we have loads more collaborations, but I don't want to say just yet.
Okay.
They're all ahead of
Okay,
the
well,
year,
you're working with me and I'm pretty good at spreading the word. So once you're ready, you tell me and I'll soon tell everyone else. But you don't want to give away all your secrets. But I can tell that, you know, if that's what you've already put in place, it's going to be amazing. Like the hovercraft thing, and like great selling points there, isn't there? Like the only people that do it, and I'm intrigued already, and the horse riding and all of that there. So amazing. It's unbelievable. Fair play to you and your family for making this happen. So what like you said, you're booked out straight away, but obviously then things, change with the time of the year and people maybe aren't as active. But what type of marketing activity have you been doing to kind of try and keep that buzz going? What have you been doing like up until now, I suppose?
Yes, even up to now, different times of year. So our September time would sort of midweek cool down with the kids back at school and stuff like that. So we would go a different market then, and we would go the couples or the retired couples, and we've done collaborations with a local company for like a sunrise hike, and stuff like that, and even the likes of the foodie tour, which we're actually working towards. But older people that can book off for their holidays with work or for a special occasion, they can go down. They can come midweek, and then we're doing like midweek deals and stuff like that.
Yes. And then how have you been getting the word out there about that? Like, what type of marketing activity do you do to get the word out there?
So a lot of ours is through socials. So our Facebook and our Instagram's the two big ones. We have been going different routes, like advertising on the radio, magazines, on TV. We've done UTV, basically doing the resort, and just things.
Yeah, so you did mention to me that you've done like, a wee bit of influencer work as well, and then you can automatically see probably the return straight away if somebody does that for you.
Influencers would be a really great way for us to advertise, giving the guys to come down and gift it stay and just enjoying the experience themselves. At least then you find out what do they love or what do they think that we could improve on. I love getting feedback.
Yes.
Just so if there is anything we can improve on, let us know and we can move forward with that.
I know.
Yeah.
And I seen recently on somebody was talking about the fact that like it was probably spoken about in a negative way, the influencers getting free getaways.
Yes.
But the value that would bring for you, it's actually they're working for you for the weekend. Yes, they're getting the luxurious surroundings, but actually you're getting daily rewards for that. So I think that's a very positive
it is definitely
thing, So we're trying to change on the Digg podcast the mindset around influencer marketing that actually that brings unreal benefit for businesses. So let's look at this as a positive experience. So I'm so glad you've had that experience with doing influencer marketing. And then there's always the place for the traditional, I'm sure, that you've seen, like the magazines and the TV and all of that. But it's great to be able to see instant rewards from someone mentioning you, isn't it? That's what business owners love.
I absolutely love it. Like even guys after they finish then leaving us a wee review, like I'm like, oh, like it feels so personal to me. Like I'm like they were like mentioning how great their stay is and they enjoyed the hot tub, the staff was lovely, and like things like that is literally basically what you do it for.
Exactly, I know. And what areas do you, like that's a lot going on there, Louise, for someone who's never ran a business before, but what areas have you struggled with?
Opening up the business, the big one was COVID.
Yes.
Then literally not knowing if you could open a business or not. You put so much into it and so much sitting ready to go, and then you're not too sure if you can open or not. And then other areas is just with staff.
Yes. Finding
staff that love your work is just as much as you do. Basically, if they come in and they love working for you or working at Benone, like they have so much pride in it.
And how do you get that staff kind of community how do you get that team to be your team? What do you do? I know we didn't talk about this in the podcast, but that I was going to ask you that. But I mean, I'm interested to know, how do you make people want to do it as good as you do it? Like, do you do like meetings and like team building, and what
we actually do is the start of the year, I'd have all my team, and it's just before summer, we would do a team building. So I would go around and look at all the local businesses around us. I'm like, wonder what we could do this year. The first year we went paddleboarding, and had the best crack. And then last year, because we've only been open 2 summers, last year we went down and went in the sea sauna and went into the sea, and we had the best crack, and we really enjoyed each other's company.
Yes.
And I think with the likes of that team building, everybody enjoys each other, and then they come to work and they're like, mind we were down there, it was good crack, and then everybody sort of gets talking and enjoys everybody. So
I suppose it shows that you appreciate them, you're taking them with you, they're on the journey with you, and you need that, don't you? Because
you definitely
need to feel
do.
more than an employee in order for them to fight for your business, I think. I think it's when you just have that employee mindset that sometimes maybe complacency creeps in and you're maybe not fighting for the owner as much, but you need the team behind you, don't you?
You definitely do, yeah.
Like
especially when you're very busy, you definitely need
all
all the help.
employers listening, book the paddleboard. So yeah, what are, I've written here, I love listening to all of that, Louise, it's amazing. What are your exciting plans? Well, don't tell us too much, I know, but for 2022, like what's the plan of attack?
2022, we've got loads of big plans. Do a fair, like we're just literally sitting. We're so close to releasing them, but we're just not there yet.
Okay.
They are, a couple of them are very big plans.
Okay.
So it's a lot of work behind the scenes. That
so you do work with Tourism A&I and Embrace the Giant Spirit campaign and all of that.
So that is what we're working with at the minute. That's another, hopefully a sleeping giant.
Okay.
From there, getting an experience with them.
So you do some work with Tourism A&I, isn't that right?
Yes, and work with them, and then we're working with the Embrace the Giant Spirit, and we're trying to get out an experience, so we can advertise all over for a one-stop experience. The guests from the UK and beyond can book and enjoy.
Embrace the Giant Spirit's amazing, isn't it? It really
completely
promotes this country. Like, I love it. Like, I've did a few things with them. Using that hashtag even makes me feel like, wow, we have such an unreal like place here that people like, you know, like when you talk about your business and where it's situated, like Benone is just gorgeous, and to be part of Embrace the Giant Spirit as well, it just brings in so much a new audience.
It gets all the businesses even collaborating with each other.
Yes.
The likes of, I wouldn't even have thought Embrace the Giant Spirit to do an experience, but I'm actually in the middle of that there at the moment, and then even getting in contact and speaking to different businesses around you. I do speak to some businesses, but then there are other businesses I wouldn't even know of.
Yes.
Just to even make you aware and who owns them and like a bit about them is unbelievable. So it is just to get everybody talking.
Yes, very good. That's brilliant. Yes. And then obviously you're on the Digg podcast now and you're the sponsor of it. So we're going to do great things over the weeks that we're working together. I'm going to come up and visit you and showcase you guys off to, you know, my audience, both on Digg for Success and Digg Mama. And you know, you can never underestimate that either. Like I'm so grateful to you guys for asking me, but also I'm deadly excited to show my people, because loads of people, like there's people travel or, you know, follow from the south, from all over the world really. And they could be coming because of you being on the Digg podcast. So I thank you so much for that opportunity, and I'm so excited. We're coming to see you very soon now to do a video and stuff. So thank you so much, Louise. I know you've never done a podcast before, but honestly you would not have known. You know, you told me what age you were before we started. You're so young to do something so huge and something that like brings people to our country. You should be so proud of. And thank you so much. Now, where can people book? Tell us. How can they find you and where can they book?
So you can find us on our socials. So Instagram and Facebook, Benone Getaways. And then how they can book is on our website, benonegetaways.co.uk, and all the information's on there.
Go before the big time. So thank you so much, and I can't wait to come and visit you at Benone Getaways.
Brilliant, thank you.
Remember, if you do listen to an episode, screenshot it and share it on social. Remember to tag me so that I see it and I can reshare on my platform. I love to see everyone tuning in each week. It has been an honour to be your host. I look forward to our next episode.